Hey y'all. Sorry, I'm running late today. I don't know if y'all can tell this or not, but I am super tardy like most of the time. I was that person who showed up 3 minutes after I was supposed to at work every day even though I'd leave on time because I have to. My anxiety doesn't allow me to do anything for an hour or two before I'm supposed to do something. So even despite that, I'm late to everything. So anyway, I'm sorry that I'm tardy. I had to make my tea. It wasn't brewing fast enough. And hello, Amanda. I'm glad you could join us today. We are going to be looking at witchy shit. Well, sort of witchy shit. I don't know how to feel about these folks, y'all. And ignore, I know you can see up here in the corner, I have 9 unread messages. I am the worst. I literally put on my profile terribly slow to respond to DMs because I can't look at them. They give me anxiety. So I was turned on to doTERRA, which is by Mombi. She sent me a message and was like, "Hey, just thought you wanted to look at this. Would want to see this." And oh my god. So, for those of you who don't know, I make soap and I make skincare products and stuff like that. I use essential oils for a lot. And I don't use them as medicine or anything. It's just that they go really well in soaps and they go really well in lotions and they're really awesome if you're making a simmer pot and putting a couple drops of peppermint or lavender in your simmer pot. They're really great. I like them for the aromatherapy aspect for the most part. And I also am a pagan and I identify as a witch. So when I found, or when Mombi sent me the link to this Instagram, I was intrigued and I took a couple looks at what they have going on and immediately decided that I needed to react to this because not only are they using reli- I'm considering it, Amanda. She says, "Oh my god," and they're doing a Stitch and Bitch live right now. Should we watch? The thing is when you join their live, they say hi and stuff. I accidentally joined a live the other day, and what happened was they sent me this message, and I was really confused. I haven't listened to this. I don't know what they said, but I accidentally popped into one of their. I'm sorry, everyone is driving by my apartment right now because of course they are. So if you hear cars, I'm so sorry. But I accidentally popped into one of their lives the other day, something about Venus envy, and they sent me this message, and I'm a little scared to listen to it. Let's see what they say. Oh god. Although my volume might be really low, so hold on.
Oh, Heather. I'm assuming your name's Heather because your screen name is Heather. But this is Jess doTERRA, which is you came on the live today, and I just wanted to send you a quick DM and tell you that I want to send you an oil, a balance oil. If you're down with that, I would love to get your email address, and then I will send you a message. I also need your shipping address so I can send you the oil. I appreciate you, and I hope you're having a really beautiful spring equinox. You're on the northern hemisphere. Equinox in general, then.
Yeah. I don't Okay, so I don't maybe it's just me, but I feel like when you have a person pop in to a live or something, you shouldn't immediately send them a message asking for their address. So, hmm, no. Thank you. Appreciate that thought, but I don't want to. Let me unshare this for a second. Um, I didn't mean to share all my friends' stuff on the interwebs here. Okay, add to stream. There we go. Um, oh, Amanda, if you do join on yours, tell me what they're talking about. Because I'm scared to go on there because I wanted to. Because she also sent me a message and said, or I guess y'all saw it. It's hey, I want to send you a free oil. Give me your shipping address. But I'm really uncomfortable with that, and I don't think that that's an effective form of marketing, even if we're not talking about the religious aspect of recruitment. I don't feel like you should be recruiting people for your business, your company, your pyramid scheme, using religion. I think that that's kind of. Oh god, I'm only the third person to join. Oh no, they're gonna say hi to you and then they're gonna ask you for your address. I guarantee it. Oh god. Ox. So I wanted to respond and I wanted to be like, no, I'm actually only looking at your page because I wanna basically talk about how MLMs are unethical and using religion to recruit for MLM is unethical as well. And also doTERRA is garbage. No offense, but it's garbage. I just so I just wanted to look at these people. I'm kind of curious what their link tree links to. Get your oils here. Oh, so directly to their doTERRA page. I love purple and I love lavender, and I hate that they have purple and lavender everywhere because it makes me like, oh, it's pretty. Email drop. What's this? Oh, every month, doTERRA witches throw down community events like moon gatherings, giveaway, Instagram lives, and educational opportunities. Drop your email to get our events bulletin and witchy love letters. No, thank you. Again, the lavender. It's so pretty, but no. So, okay, they're link trees. You know, go away. So, a couple things that I noticed, like on there. Yes. Oh my gosh, Amanda, get out of my head. Okay, so like one of the things that you notice when you first go into one of their lives is that it is a white woman, or we should say white passing potentially. She does look like she is white though, and she has locks. And this is a huge problem in the pagan community where we have a lot of witchy types who believe that they are entitled to claim aspects of other people's cultures. And white people should not have locks. And there are people of color out there who will disagree with me, and that's totally fine. That's their if they want to disagree with me, that's totally their prerogative. I'm saying from my perspective as a white woman, none of our cultures had locks. So we shouldn't be wearing them. And so in the witchy community, in the pagan community, there's a lot of people who claim that they can because supposedly the Norse wore locks and they did not. That is not a thing that they did. The Vikings, the Norse, they didn't have locks in their hair. They had specific types of braids, but they didn't have locks. Anyway, so that's the first thing you notice from this woman whenever you go into one of her lives is that she is a white woman with locks. She sort of gives off that sort of witchy vibe that you kind of like, it's a stereotypical witchy vibe. You expect the people with the, crunchy look about them to be witches and sell essential oils. So something I thought was really funny is that, and let me see if I can find the original thing that Bombi sent me because she sent this thing and it was like, here's all these events we're having. You should come and check them out. And I was like, no. Uh, what is this? Sex, magic, and essential oils. I need to know more about this. What do essential oils have to do with sex? Oh, we'll talk intimacy, oils for libido and climax, practice and ritual suggestions for embodiment, and share a few tips and stories for fun. That's cool. Inclusive for all humanish bodies, but adults only. Okay, that makes sense. And RSVP early in the DMs for a complimentary oil experience. What is a complimentary oil experience? Have to know. Huh. Anyway, so something that they post recently was this doTERRA presents I am not a doctor. Oh no, I don't want to play you yet. Go back. I want to read that. I am not a doctor, a compliance conversation. I have a feeling that this was done because of all of the backlash that essential oil types are getting for their usage of the word like cures and stuff like that. Oh, it wasn't the Stitch and Bitch. Apparently, I caught the tail end of a Q&A. Ooh, you missed the good stuff. I wonder if they'll post it because they post some of their lives. So let's see what she says in regards to compliance with doTERRA.
I'm Filter Face Jess, occupation being the light. I am so excited to be here for I am not a doctor. I named this I named this that, but this that because I felt like it really was just clear and to the point of why I'm here today. So we've been building doTERRA Witches since October of 2021. That's not even 6 months ago. We have been doing this for our shared love of essential oils, for finding a company that aligns with our values, for all the perks and benefits of
basically free oils and community and partnership and being able to touch people from across the world that our normal scope in our communities couldn't do. So we partner with doTERRA because we believe in our mission. I'll say that first off. Also, I want to say that we are in an arena right now. And an arena being kind of like I imagine the Colosseum in like Rome, and it's like where lots of like fights and things happen. Everyone's watching each other and like all these things. But we're in an arena, the meta called Instagram, and also Facebook. So being in that arena, we have to play by the arena's rules. There's overlords of the arena, and we have to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and all the information.
I feel like that's a whole lot of words for we have rules to follow, so we're gonna follow them. I like her energy though. She's bouncy and happy seeming. She's like super positive. I bet you though, because occupation being the light, I feel like she's a love and light witch, which is problematic for the same reasons that we talk about toxic positivity within the anti-MLM like arena. um we pig it. Is that the ice cream truck? Oh, sorry. I got distracted. There's an ice cream truck outside. Anyway, so you know how like in the anti-MLM world we talk about toxic positivity, like live, laugh, love, and the whole concept of just being positive all the time. Don't let negative stuff get to you. Blah blah blah. The same thing exists within the pagan community. We call them love and light witches, and the love and light types tend to be white affluent women who are their general thing is like, don't do curses, don't do hexes, don't speak negativity or you'll bring negativity onto you. Only be positive because you get what you put into the universe, right? Um, I kind of agree with the concept of you get what you put out there, but I don't believe in the whole don't be negative thing ever. I just, anyway. So she seems kind of love and lighty, which is problematic enough on its own. But let's see. I'm kind of her caption here is we were censored and required to take content down. Let's talk about it. Oh, and I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to be. Let's talk about it. The truth will set us free, but we are playing in their arena. Let's talk about it. I think she wants to talk about it.
That we're here to give and receive. All those things together combined equals the reality that we're in. So, though we are wild women and men, although we are a modern day family and modern day witches, we are here because this is a social place online that we all can gather and share information and be our own lights and show up for other people when we are in shadow. All that being said, we are a very young circle, a very young circle, and we are learning a lot as we go. And what's really weird is that, hey everyone,
Man, I do that a lot. Like I turn it down and then it like hold on, let me see if I can fix it. Let's see. Turn that up. Speakers. I upgraded to Windows 11, and so it's really weird because like some of the settings are in completely different places now, and I don't really know why. Format, enhance audio. No, I just want to open the mixer. Where's the audio mixer? Why have you disappeared? Oh, nope. Do do. Speak. Oh, let's turn that up. Oh no, that turns my volume up. My bad. Oh, there it is. I found the volume mixer. Okay. Yeah, it's all like really up. She's kind of talking quietly too, so I wonder if that's part of it. Me. Yeah, I have the volume way up on audio. Me try something else.
I was like, it was, Instagram looked like it was having some trouble, but I guess I'm recording, so let's continue. All right, so with us being in a young circle, we've learned a lot of mistakes throughout all time, and Do you guys remember when I told Everest Asher that she was going to get points for her every oil order as an enrollment, and then she didn't get points, and I had to eat a bite, a whole humble pie, really, and explain how wrong I was and how I didn't know any better. So this is another one of those cases with a little smudge, a little stain of oppression, like fucking rubbed all in the situation. So what had happened was we were censored. I got an email one random morning from doTERRA, and it says that our videos are not in compliance, and they're not in compliant language. And they gave me lots of examples of stories and a bunch of Instagram lives that they had listened to and that we had to take down. The reason we had to take them down is because we were combining essential oils with the healing of your body. And that is not compliant, because basically the reason it's not compliant is because we're not doctors and we can't diagnose or treat or do any of those FDA statements.
No, that is not why that was not in compliance. I'm really happy, actually, that they seem to have gotten, someone must have reported a bunch of their stuff, because yeah, it reminds me of Monty Python. Help, help, I'm being oppressed. It's like, yeah, we're being oppressed because we were asked not to, use language that is going to dupe people into buying our products. So I'm actually really happy to hear that they got a bunch of stuff taken down, a bunch of content taken down, and that doTERRA asked them to, because that means that they got reported, I think. Or that's what I take from it anyway, because I don't know that doTERRA goes out and just watches everyone's, because like if they're anything like Monat, anytime there was a compliance violation, they would, you had to email their compliance department. Like, they're not just out there watching your content. That's why so many Monat distributors can get away with saying whatever the heck they want until they're reported, because Monat doesn't have time to watch all of them. It's probably the same with doTERRA, but I don't have any like firsthand experience with that, so couldn't tell you. But yeah, LMAO and her thinking she's being oppressed for giving false health information, right? That's that's another thing that's pretty common with this type of love and light witchy type, is they think that anytime that they're being told, hey, this is inappropriate, they're being like attacked or oppressed in this case, or enter negative terminology here to describe something that they're not actually experiencing. And the idea of a white woman who's wearing locks talking about being oppressed while culturally appropriating several cultures, like, that's kind of amusing to me, to be honest. All right. I have to take my headphones off when I play it. So hold on.
We can't do that in this arena. Laura Jacobs, she's essential oil, like double diamond. She's amazing. She explained it, that it's a bridge between sickness and health. Okay. And only certified professionals in the 3D reality can get you on a place from sickness to the place of health. They can only people that have gone to college, only people that are able to diagnose and treat disease and things are allowed in this arena to get you from sickness to health. So we can't do that for you guys. We're not doctors. I don't think any of us have the desire to be doctors, or else we would be working towards that. I feel like we are mothers and witches, and we practice our own individual type of witchcraft. We're also advocates of plant medicine, and we believe that doTERRA is a company to partner with, because we see that their mission is in perfect alignment with our mission in our life. For me, that's like raising people from poverty to financial freedom. Like, that's like really important to me. That hits home in my story, because I came from like a single mom, and I was living in like trailer parks and food stamps. So it's like really important to me. And I know our other witch, Tanya, she is really, really close to home to her, because she suffers from like chronic See, I can't even say chronic. This is another example of where I should not be saying the word chronic in combined with essential oils, because chronic means that you're a diagnosis. It's a diagnosis. I could say that she suffers from a lot of pain, or her and her family have regular pain, and then we can recommend an.
Why do I feel like this is going to be 12 minutes of her misunderstanding the compliance instructions? Because you can have chronic headaches. You don't have to have a diagnosis to know that you have chronic headaches. So I don't understand why she's saying that. But I want to watch this, but I want to see what the Q&A was. And I want to know if they continue to be compliant or not. Oh, man. Oh, hold on. My dog wants out of my bedroom because she's a goofball. Give me 1 second. The spouse beast is making burgers. She wants nothing to do with me and everything to do with sitting next to the kitchen watching him make burgers. So let's see what their Q&A was about. I have questions. And I hope they get answered. Oh, there that goes.
Away from. Hey guys, I'm literally walking away from doTERRA leadership retreat right now. Y'all doTERRA people, you might be sitting in the in-person audience or on the virtual audience, but I have been glued to my computer all day learning about what doTERRA is up to next, hanging out with all the doTERRA leaders. I got a hammock from our plot, this badass in it. It's twisted.
You know, Amanda, that's a really good point. Sometimes I wonder if these people like willfully misunderstand some of this stuff just so they can keep living under their own delusions. I feel like probably, and maybe it's not even so much like willful misunderstanding. It's like that they're so deep in whatever their thought process is, they can't like accept when they're being told they're wrong about something, so that like it just like morphs to whatever their worldview already is, if that makes sense. I don't know, because she's in the other one, in this one, she's talking about how
Hey.
and I accidentally started it over. Anyway, she in this one, she's talking about how, you know, these are witchy types that aligned with doTERRA, that partnered with doTERRA because doTERRA can, you know, the aligns with their values and aligns with what they want to accomplish. But like, there's proof out there that you don't make money with doTERRA. So Jess, who is seemingly this bubbly type who looks like she genuinely wants to help people, she's under this delusion that she can help anybody by having them sign up to be a doTERRA distributor for her, like under her. She genuinely thinks, probably despite proof being given to her, she genuinely thinks that she's going to help lift people out of poverty with this opportunity. It's not an opportunity, and like everybody who looks at the numbers knows that. And like that's something else that I've been thinking about. It's like been rattling around in my brain lately because I just started a bookkeeping firm. I'm working towards creating a pretty substantial career in finance and bookkeeping. And something that I want to do, if I can find guinea pigs, is I want to take someone who's been an MLM for 6 months to a year, and I want to sit down and I want to do their finances with them. And I want to show them how much money they're not making, because these people really think that they are making money, but they don't do their numbers right. They don't do their bookkeeping right, and they don't keep one of the biggest financial principles, like accounting principles, is that you have to keep your business finances separate from your personal finances. So you can't have a bank account where all of your money from your MLM scheme goes that you use for your personal finances. You have to keep that stuff separate. And I don't think that these people do. So they all believe that they're making money because there's money in the bank account. And so they see the stuff coming in, but they don't see the numbers. They don't see their expenses. They don't track the money they spend on like business cards and, you know, like some of these people pay monthly subscriptions for those automated social media posting things. They don't track these kinds of expenses, so they don't really know what they're actually doing. Anyway, I'm running off topic, but this poor woman genuinely, like seemingly genuinely thinks that she can help people. And it kind of breaks my heart because she's not helping anybody. So, anyway, back to this one over here. Ah, stop yelling at me. Anyway, apparently Tanya and Jess answer, what's one of the biggest things you've learned while showing up for others? And what makes you come alive? What makes you resurrect from hard times and difficulty? Submit questions for the next Q&A in a DM or when we call for it in our stories. Maybe we'll come back to this one because I don't know that any of that sort of aligns with what I wanted to talk about them. I'm going to have to watch that though because I'm curious. Let's see what their stories are. No. We were watching this. Okay, it's going to be loud, so I'm taking my headphones off again. See if I can get us back to where we were. We were about 5 minutes in. Is this where we were?
Chronic means that you're a diagnosis. It's a diagnosis. I could say that she suffers from a lot of pain, or her and her family have regular pain, and then we can recommend an essential oil that could help with that feeling. So I use that example because it's very important that everyone knows now that we are here and our foundation is so built and sturdy, and we are so excited to be serving this way, but we're still learning, and we can't connect a diagnosed disease or like any kind of treatment or anything with essential oils. And that's basically the whole gist of this thing. When we have taught you guys about essential oils, we have used reference books. These reference books are great resources. We use like Essential Oil Life. Oils and Emotions is an amazing book. There's a lot of essential oil reference books out there. But when it says that you use this oil for this diagnosis, we can't really say that in this arena anymore.
Diagnonsense? Did she just diagnonsense? Okay, so I feel like, just from watching this, I feel a little bit like she does not subscribe to the notion of Western medicine at all. Just from that, like, because the only people that I've ever heard use the word diagnonsense are people who think that Western doctors are just out to take your money. So I guess that places us firmly where we need to be mentally to understand where this woman is coming from. Oh, boy.
So if I tell you that I have like back pain with the capital C word, like CH back pain, then I have to be like, I have back pain that happens every day. You know, I have to explain a feeling. So what we have to do, if you're a doTERRA wellness advocate, you'll find this helpful because this helped me and my team understand how we were going to talk about these things and tell you guys all of the useful information that we have and that we've learned without telling you like the thing. Okay. So imagine that you're 5 years old and you go to the doctor and you don't know what anything's called. Okay. You have no idea what fibromyalgia. You have no idea what chronic anything is. You have no idea what like dementia is. You have no idea what that is. But you have to talk in terms of explaining to the doctor what you're going through. Okay. So if my back constantly feels tense and then it releases and then it feels tense and then it releases, I would be explaining that to the doctor, and the doctor is the only one that would be able to tell me what that is. Like, because it's a medical term, you know, it's like you have to go to school to learn these things. And I'm not going back to medical school. I will not go back to medical school. But I feel like some people's path is aligned in this way. What I want to be is a professional oil witch, a professional book witch, a professional witch in my life. Like, I love this life that I have and that I'm growing and that we're building at doTERRA Witches. I've taken everything that I love from all the online sisterhoods and circles that I've been in since Wild Woman Unleashed in 2014, 15. I have been in online circles for the past.
Wait, she was in Wild Women Unleashed? Hold on. Is that gone now? Because if that's gone, that'd be hilarious. Oh man. Uh, okay, I'm gonna have to look into that more because that is a community that we've heard from. Ah, no, I did it again. Where were we at? We were like here-ish. That's very weird. Instagram's little player is very strange.
Is an amazing book. There's a lot, and you go to the doctor and you don't know what. It's like you have to go to school to learn these things, and I'm not going back to medical school. I will not go back to medical school, but I feel like some people's path is aligned in this way. What I want to be is a professional oil witch, a professional book witch, a professional witch in my life. Like, I love this life that I have and that I'm growing and that we're building at doTERRA Witches. I've taken everything that I love from all the online sisterhoods and circles that I've been in since Wild Woman Unleashed in 2014, 15. I have been in online circles for the past, let's see, almost 10 years, you guys, like somewhere between 5 or 10 years. And I want to take all those things that I liked about it, and then I'm going to like show up in this way at doTERRA Witches. That's why we got full moon and new moons. That's why we have all these educational things. That's why we have meditation and breath work. That's why we have movie nights. You guys, we have witch flicks every month where we all get to chat and sit there and talk shit in the chat box while we watch a movie together from anywhere in the world. And doTERRA is a beautiful job that travels with you anywhere in the world. The financial freedom for me to just show up here in my nice little shed room and be here in service to you is why I do this. So I just want to remind you that even though the censorship be getting us down, yo, in this case, it
Poor
wasn't
Amanda.
doTERRA, the company itself. It was FDA pressing on doTERRA because the advocates are making claims that only doctors can make. And we all understand that now, even though the first initial emotional response was to be like, what the fuck? And feel down about it. We are here to serve. And if you see us live stumbling over like how to explain something, recently during the Ravinsara Dropping Knowledge Live, I was like choked up on how to say something that was compliant language. This is why. So we're all learning. I hope that I can be a beacon for future doTERRA wellness advocates, for the future witches who are like sitting here and going through something similar about being shadow banned and about being censored on Instagram, but still showing up in this way. You know, I hope that I can show up so that you can show up, so that we can all raise the vibration. I got a lot of heretic energy in my human design, and I'm not necessarily afraid to speak it, but I want to be really efficient in getting my point across. So compliant language is important. Feel free to ask us questions in the DMs. Right now, if you're watching this currently, you will know that we have an equinox ecstatic dance party on Saturday and the full moon's on Friday.
Okay. So I guess that's the end of what she really is. She didn't really get to any sort of point, I guess. I really don't like the concept that she's like talking about being censored, like being told you can't use certain language that you don't have an education for isn't being censored. Like, she doesn't have the education required to make diagnoses or prescribe any sort of quote unquote medication or cure for anything. But poor Amanda, they already sent me a message. Oops, abort. that was me the other day, because like it really was an accident. I went to like swipe away the notification that they were live, and then it just like I accidentally like didn't swipe it away. I opened it, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be here. So I left pretty much immediately. But they did the whole wave to you when you go into the live thing, and then they sent me those messages, and I'm still a little bit I don't know, is it weird? Is it weird that I think it's crazy to, like, not crazy, but like inappropriate to ask someone for their address before you've established a relationship with that person? It's like when I go into a like a small brick and mortar metaphysical shop, I'm going to speak to the person behind the counter. Like I'm going to establish rapport with them, establish where I, feel comfortable enough with them. And then if they're like, "Hey, we want to add you to our um, you know, weekly mailer that we send out in the snail mail," because I guess people still do that. And that would them asking me gives me the choice to be like, "No, no, thank you." But like the way that they came into my DMs and was like, "Hey, I want to send you something for free. Give me your address." I find that highly uncomfortable. maybe I'm just weird. Amanda says, "Yep, she waved at me during the live." It's This is why I don't watch Instagram lives very often, because I feel weird that like I'm being watched. I don't know. Okay, so something else. If you're not a witchy person and you're watching this right now, uh, the equinox. There's the spring equinox and the fall equinox, and then there's the winter solstice and the summer solstice, and those are very important days for witchy types. Um, Wiccans tend to be way more obsessed with those dates than like the rest of us, but basically the spring equinox just happened. It was the 20th. That's when spring starts. That's like the beginning of the new season. Um, and so I guess they did like an equinox dance party. I don't know what this is about. Well, it looks like, what does it say? Diffusing and meditation. I don't want to watch anything about diffusing and meditation, because diffusing oils isn't necessarily bad as long as you're not like dumping a bunch of, you know. Yeah, yeah. Asking for someone's home address in DMs is super aggressive. I agree. It's like aggressive, and it comes off as slightly desperate and slightly frenetic in like energy wise, and that kind of energy puts me off, and it immediately makes me go, okay, I need to step back a little bit. Let's see. That's them advertising a Q&A. This is what they've got going on. Essential oil hour, subversive chill and chat with Mike and Jess, or Mick and Jess. I don't know. And then they have another Q&A and the Labyrinth watch party. I think that's a really cool idea. Having like a watch party for witchy type movies like Practical Magic, The Labyrinth, stuff like that. But I don't like that they're basically using it as a marketing technique to get people to like sign up under them. It's weird. I don't like it. Okay, so the thing that I popped in on was this, actually. That's why they started messaging me. Hello, Adorkables. I hope you're having a good evening. Oh, poor Amanda. Oh my god, she's asking for my email and home address too. Yeah, she wants to send you free oils. Free diluted garbage. I'm telling y'all right now, if you have any interest in essential oils, Mountain Rose Herbs, which is way cheaper. I talked about this in my essential oil video too. Mountain Rose Herbs is amazing. And Brambleberry. Brambleberry is where I get a lot of my essential oils and like stuff like that. I've actually moved away from using as much essential oils because they're bad for the environment and they're actually causing a lot of problems. Allow all. I don't care about cookies. I clear them all the time anyway. Okay. But yeah, you can buy. Where'd they go? They changed their website since I was last on here. There we go. I actually use fragrance oils more than I use essential oils now. But when I do use essential oils, I get them from Brambleberry and Mountain Rose Herbs. I also get a lot of my actual like herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs. They have such an awesome selection. Like you can find basically anything that you want from here. Soon I'm going to start growing my own herbs and stuff. But yeah. So in my video on essential oils, I talked about how they charge something like $30 for doTERRA and Young Living. They both charge like $30 for about 3 teaspoons of an essential oil, and they cost way less than that on here. Like, if you're gonna buy essential oils, buy them from someone who does stuff like this and works with skincare products and puts the appropriate warnings. So like Brambleberry, when you go here and you're looking at an essential oil, it tells you the flash point, it tells you, the stuff like, the marketing crap that doesn't matter. It tells you the extraction method, what part of the plant was used, because that matters. It tells you, because this is a soap making product thing, they tell you what you can use it in, what's safe to use it in, because some essential oils you cannot use them in candles, others you can't use in soap. So it matters. And it tells you whether or not it's safe for, and this is really important, do not apply undiluted directly onto skin. This is so important, because doTERRA people and Young Living people will have you believe that you can just slather it on any part of your body and you're going to be fine. That is not true. You got to, and Lisa says there are some essential oils that are not safe for small children and animals. Drives me nuts that people do not do their research. I agree. I'd wager to say, if you're not sure what essential oils are safe for kids or pets, keep them all up. Like, all of mine are in a cabinet. You cannot access them if you're a tiny human or my dog. Like, just, you can't. I'm having a great evening chilling with my cat, who is super snuggly. Aw, I miss my cat. I love cats. Adorkable says, I'm not a fan of any scented things. LOL, they make me feel ill, so I don't get the appeal of any of this stuff. That's totally understandable, too. I know a lot of people who are allergic to, like, cologne, like, fragrances and stuff like that, so it makes sense that you wouldn't be, They make, like, one lady I know, she gets migraines, like, instantly if she goes anywhere near fragrance. So, but anyway, so I don't remember where I was going with that. But I think it's it's obnoxious to me. I haven't even looked through all of these people's content yet. Like, I've watched literally as much as y'all have watched on this with me, like, right now. I'm already not a fan of the whole, the FDA is oppressing doTERRA, so they have to oppress us. That line of thinking is harmful and kind of offensive to people who are actually being oppressed. Okay, so there was this one that yes, this one. I wanted to watch these two with y'all, because this one is all about financial freedom, and then this one, what is a doTERRA witch? So let's just go in order. So it says, Jess at Mountain Bound Books opens this money mindset series with a discussion about her own background, finding and living your dharma, financial sovereignty, the path of failure and success, and holding hope in times of great change. Join Jess again in April to learn about the cash flow quadrant and how it will change your whole financial worldview. Okay, now I got to Google this, because as a person who, of course, it's a rich dad, poor dad thing. Ew. Okay. So let's see. Oh. Sarah Jean says they think the research is done for them, unfortunately. Yeah, and it's like, not. Because if I recall correctly, I think it was doTERRA that was found to be diluting their oils and saying that they were, because they got in trouble for it. I can't remember. One of them actually was like, they got her blinking eyes startle me every time I go back to this tab. Anyway, one of them got in trouble for diluting oils, and so, like, people are basing their entire, like, sales pitch and their marketing tactics on the idea that they're selling these completely 100% essential oils when they're not, and they're also selling overpriced garbage that is hurting people, and they're telling people to ingest it. I will say this every single time I talk about essential oils: do not ingest them. There are none that are safe for consumption. None. You cannot consume essential oils. Don't do it. But I haven't seen them say that you can, so maybe they don't. But if they do, I'm going to report that, because you can't. That's dangerous. All right. Let's see what this lady says about being... Wait, what? Dorkables, elaborate for me because there's a delay, so I don't know which part of what I said you're like, wait, what? There was a study done in 2004 that shows lavender causes cellular toxicity. Yeah, I have seen that. Actually, are you in one of the anti-MLM groups on Facebook, Lisa? Because someone had linked that like not even a year ago. Because I hadn't heard about that cellular toxicity study, and then someone linked it in that Facebook group, and then I was like mind blown. I wonder if it was you that linked it. People are morons. You got to idiot proof everything these days. Yeah. Well, it's and like I don't even know so much that people are morons. I think that people are willing to believe whatever they can to help them get through life. And like the idea that you don't have to go to the doctor who costs a whole ridiculous amount of money, and it's like, okay, so personal story time. We are poor, like y'all. We are not of the affluent white population of any by any metric. And um so for a long time we lived in Texas, and in Texas you can't get on Medicaid if you're an adult. Only the kids can get on Medicaid. They didn't take the Medicaid extension in Texas. So I went without health care for a really long time. And part of that, like I'm diabetic, and I was diagnosed diabetic when I it was like 2015. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I got medicine then because I was living in Kentucky, and you could get on Medicaid as an adult in Kentucky. And then I moved to Texas, and I lost my health insurance, so I wasn't able to take medicine. Something that goes around a lot is that you can take cinnamon with chromium to help balance your blood sugars. I don't know how true this is. There are studies saying yes, and there are studies saying no. Oops, sorry, my phone's ringing. Um, there are studies that go back and forth on whether or not cinnamon with chromium actually helps you, like, keep your blood sugars stable. But so I was desperate. I could easily get cinnamon from the grocery store, like the cinnamon capsules. I could easily do that. And I didn't think that it would hurt anything. So when I moved to New Mexico and I was finally able to get back on health insurance, I I talked to my doctor, like that she asked, what have you been doing to manage your diabetes? And I was like, honestly, I've been trying to eat like keto, and I've been taking cinnamon because I heard it helps. My doctor was like, unequivocally, no, this does not help. It doesn't hurt you. You're not going to like die from taking cinnamon, but you're not helping either. You need to be on medication. And it was so bad when we moved to New Mexico from Texas that they almost put me on insulin shots, but I'm able to manage with just medication and, diet and exercise. But the point is like, I don't know that it's that people are stupid. I think that people are desperate. We live in a very weird time, and sometimes things like the simplest of things, like going to the doctor, are not accessible for everyone, but getting essential oils from the Walmart is. And so people are looking for anything to help them get through life. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, that can hurt them. Okay, let's see where. No, someone told me about it when I shared my recipe for lavender lemonade using fresh lavender, not oils. Oh my god, that reminds me. The other day, my kid wanted to make macarons, and she wanted to make them. Like she didn't want to make the lavender ones, but I like was reading off the recipes, and like we came across the lavender one, and Ella goes, "You cannot eat essential oils, Mom." And I'm like, "Baby girl, like you don't. You're not putting essential oils in the macarons. I promise. It's the leaf. It's okay." But we don't eat lavender because I think it's weird. I don't like to eat things that smell like perfume. So it's interesting that does cause cellular toxicity. So USA really needs universal health care. They're the only first world country. Yeah, we are behind the times. A little bit. So anyway, I wanted to see what she said about, what was this one called? We need you rich. We need you rich. Let's find out how she needs us rich.
Hello, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you here, you friendly freaks of the world, you delightful witches and weirdos. Hi, welcome to doTERRA Witches. My name is Jess. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. I've recorded this episode of We Need You Rich, but it was a little bit too long for my favorite, and I went on a couple of rambles. So I've decided to make We Need You Rich only 15 minutes long, and I'm just going to get right into it and tell you guys how I have been searching for my own financial sovereignty and my own financial freedom. I'm so happy that you're here. This call that we do, it's all about money mindset. And it's all about how the things are shifting from an old paradigm, the paradigm of go to school, go to college, get a degree, use your degree, retire, die. That old paradigm is being changed. And there are plenty of testimonials in the world about how you don't have to work the 9-to-5 grind if you don't want to. And with that being said, I want everyone to understand that if working the 9-to-5 grind gives you stability and gives you long-term plans, if you find comfort in that, cool. We're not egging on the grind of the 9-to-5. I think we all start there. We are born and we're put into school, and we're educated in a certain kind of way that gets us to a place where we are promised a financial future. And with you guys knowing about the political climate currently, also how the establishment is being challenged and changed, I hope that you're here for this conversation, because we have to do things in a new way and in a new direction. And I have stood up and I'm taking the
Ugh, this is so annoying because it's like her problem is with capitalism, but like somehow she landed face first into the ultimate capitalist scam. I just, Amanda says they don't need you rich. They need you in a cycle of buy, recruit, earn, repeat. Yes. The only customers of this crap are also distributors. Rosie says, I'm late to the stream, but very interested in this. Hi, Rosie. I'm glad you could come. And Amanda elaborated more. As long as you're still buying, that's all they care about. This is true. As long as you have enough money to keep buying those oils. They don't want you rich. They just want you to have enough money for the oils. Enter MLM product here. But she's, okay, so I agree with her to the point of, like, we've been taught, go to school, go to college, get a good career. As we've seen, like, the millennial generation is the first generation to really prove that isn't a thing anymore. There is no go to college, get out of college, get a new job, or get a good job in the field that you went to college for. It just doesn't happen. So, what she's doing here, and whether or not it's intentional, I don't know, but what she's doing here is employing a tactic that MLM reps like to do, where they point out a very real problem and then they have their solution, which is not a solution at all. It only contributes more to the problem, but they think it's the solution. And like right now, I'm having trouble trying to figure out if this woman is legitimately like duped by this business or if she genuinely believes this stuff. Because I don't know. And like she seems like she genuinely wants to help. So I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Let's have her tell us how to get rich.
Leading baton, and I am racing towards these new options, even if they're subversive, even if by chance you don't understand them yet. I am here to help bring some clarity and to show you solutions that you may have not considered before. So with that being said, hi everyone. Hello witches, my friends. With that being said, I want to start a little bit about my background, just a few minutes. I also grew up in that system, the educational system. I'm an American. I was born in America, and in that way, we have a public education system that compulsory education that we are all basically led into. I dropped out of high school. I dropped out of high school pretty quick in the first 2 years. I went and I got my GED. I pretty much skipped out of that. I never liked public school, or I liked college a little bit. But I ended up going to college after being a florist for a while. I've always liked the flowers. Went into nursing school and I didn't find it to be aligned with the reason I went there. That's most of the jobs that I've had in my life. They ended up not being aligned with the reason or the way I thought it was going to be. So nursing school was more about sick care and charting and being responsible for someone, not as actually getting them well. It was more about keeping a patient in a bed than it was providing wellness and losing that patient. So even though I was interested in health and wellness,
If that's the experience she had in nursing school, that's really sad. I was in nursing school because our my high school had a program where you could be in a nursing program, and then by the time you graduated high school, you could have a nursing degree, and it was really cool. It was really awesome. And then I got pregnant in junior year, and I had to drop out of high school. But anyway, didn't get to finish that. But during that nursing program, it definitely was not all about charting and keeping a patient in a bed. Like, we learned extensive amounts about bedside manner, about helping people, about alerting, doctors to specific problems that doctors aren't necessarily going to see because they can't sit with the patient all the time. Nurses just on average see the patient more than a doctor does. So it's easier to be like, hey, here's my observation, etc. So if that's the experience that she had in nursing school, that's really sad. And I feel like they let her down and maybe pushed her towards this path of hyper capitalist scam artist and stuff. Yeah, exactly, Amanda. She must not have had good instructors then. My dad teaches pre-med students and he helps students find their right path all the time, and the people who care the most do the best. Yes, I like that. Your dad sounds awesome. That's pretty cool.
the route that I went as training to be an RN didn't turn out as well as I thought it would, and I became a medical school dropout. And that, for me, was a great decision because it really didn't bring me that inner joy and satisfaction. I don't know if you guys have tried a job that you didn't like and then decided, wow, that was nothing like I thought it was going to be. Let me know. Raise your hands if you started something and then you were like, wow, this is not what I wanted. Which brings me to the focus of Dharma.
Oh,
Dharma
boy.
is a word that means like your life mission, like the reason, like your own sacred divinity.
Okay. Where am I at? 436, because it's going to kick me off. It's already a little bit annoying that she's a white woman with locks talking about love and light nonsense, but now she's bringing into it a concept called Dharma, which is, I am not Buddhist and I do not know that much about Buddhism, but Dharma is a Buddhist concept. And whenever white people tend to like go hyper onto the Buddhist track of things, it does give certain people of color within the pagan community, it makes them like side eye these people because, so let's see if she's right about Dharma. Not Dharma and Greg. That was a great show though. What is Dharma? In the Indian religion, the eternal... Oh, so is Dharma something that's also in Hindu? Oh, it is. Multiple meanings in Indian religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism. Can't pronounce that. I always pronounce that wrong, but I think it's Sikhism. So the internal and inherent nature of reality regarded in Hinduism as a cosmic law underlying right behavior and social order. In Buddhism, it is the nature of reality regarded as a universal truth taught by the Buddha, the teaching of Buddhism. So basically an aspect of truth or reality, if Google definitions is right. And I'm not going to go like super into like trying to research it, but just want to see what she has to say on that. No, review. There we go.
Like the reason, like your own sacred divinity for being on this planet. It's the souls you're going to touch, the ways that you're going to serve. It is the way that you show up in the world, and generally your legacy and your mission statement. So focusing on how to find your Dharma could be a place that you go exploring, okay? Keep an open mind. If you don't know exactly why you're here, then it's okay to explore and find that out. The best way I feel like to do that is to just go with your natural inclinations and interests. So if something brings you joy, like essential oils brought me joy, and then I explored that. And then it led me right to my dharma of being a professional oil witch, and also, side note, being a professional book witch. So when we focus on our dharma instead of what society conditions us to believe our mission and our purpose is, we'll find ourselves off of the beaten path. And by that, my dog is acting funny. And by that, I mean that you'll probably have to disappoint some people and take non-traditional routes to get yourself where you can serve most. You know, your most high, your highest self, the most you version of you that you could ever be. Those, I hope you guys don't hear that ridiculousness. What are you doing? Sorry, guys. That position, that exploratory place where you go, man, I'm really not satisfied in this one place. Like, the society told me to do A, B, C, and D, and I would arrive wherever I wanted to be. And a lot of us find out that that's not actually true. So finding your dharma takes an act or multiple acts of bravery and courage.
I don't know. I still think that she's not understanding the concept of dharma. But what Amanda says here, what is it with white women just like collecting pieces of other cultures to craft this super spiritual image? Appropriating multiple cultures doesn't make you more spiritual or interesting. It certainly does not make you super interesting. Like, I used to be part of this really awesome Facebook group, but it got zucked. Because the entire group was devoted to decolonizing paganism and like turning, you know, white witchcraft, like white people witchcraft, and like making it so that we as white people weren't just stealing other people's cultures and claiming them as our own. And like, this is gonna sound bad, but hold on, it's gonna be loud again. She is a white woman with locks, with a septum piercing, and with a mandala tattoo. I'm not necessarily saying those things are bad, but I am saying that I have been told by Black, Indigenous, people of color, pagans, that these are things that they watch for to avoid a person because they feel like they're pieces of their culture being stolen to give this person an aesthetic. Does that make sense? So I don't know. I try really hard not to be that kind of person, and like that's why I don't do Wicca, and that's why I don't do Dilemma or any of those that are like, you know, basically just cobbled together pieces of dying or dead cultures of not white people. That's just, where were we? We're over here, I think.
Acts of bravery and courage. Okay. And the people that know you most tend to give you the most criticism, which can be unfortunate, but also it develops your sovereignty, your autonomy, and your willingness to stand up for yourself. So when you are exploring and finding all of those places in which you want to serve, the places that bring you joy, I want to remind you that we all go on some version of that path of ourselves. And it doesn't always lead down one trail right into the floodgates of your life purpose. You have to trial and error certain things. And I want to point out that we think often that when we're faced with a decision, that one decision leads to failure and a different decision leads to success. But if we can break down that paradigm, if we can break down that good or bad, black and white, light and shadow, like the alternative controversy of the world, and if we just realize that everywhere that we are is where we're meant to be, everything that we've gone through has taught us important lessons of contrast and important lessons of like the contrast of joy and suffering.
I swear to God, if any of the next words out of her mouth are everything happens for a reason, I'll lose my mind. I hate when people say that. Like, it drives me bonkers. It's like, ugh, I won't get into it. But that phrase is like one of the worst. It's like the top of the list of worst phrases that you could ever tell a person ever.
Offering, and it's taught 11:11, and it's taught us integrity. Okay, all of those things are valuable pieces to get us to exactly where we need to go. And so if I leave you with one note, one or two notes, I want you to know that your dharma, your legacy is waiting for you to show up for it. And also, whatever you do in life, it doesn't actually lead to failure. You know, failure and success are actually the same direction, because your life path only has one direction in this physical existence. I don't know what would have happened to me if I would have continued nursing school. I don't know what would happen to me if I didn't step into my dharma as your oil witch and your book witch. It took me a certain amount of courage and self-sourcing of my confidence. You know, and my confidence isn't waiting outside of me. I had to find the confidence to sit here in front of you guys, just sit here, and any of you that are in here presently, that are in the future. It takes an amount of confidence in showing up for myself so that I can show up for the world.
I don't disagree with her on like a lot of this stuff. Like I think that she has a point when she talks about, you know, we learn from our past and not everyone has the same. Hello. What? I just wanted one. Yes. Sorry guys, my uh husband popped into the room to make sure that I only, because he's making burgers right now. He's like, "How many did you want?" Because he thinks that one isn't enough. He likes to feed me. And normally I'd say, "Yeah, I want 2 burgers," but I just had hot pockets like 3 hours ago, so I'm like super not hungry. Hi, kitty. That's okay. The replay will be up. I'm not gonna take this down or anything, so you can always go back and rewatch later. Right now, we're learning about how our dharma will help us become rich as doTERRA Huns. I think. I don't know. That's the best way I could put it. I don't completely disagree with her on the idea that, you know, not all of us are meant for that cookie cutter, cut and dry college to, you know, retirement with a 401k pipeline. That's totally valid. I don't like that she's using it to shill basically like the the world's biggest scam. Like I hate that she's using that very real concept to shill her thing that is just going to make people lose money. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit.
I want to remind you that success and failure are the same direction, y'all. You are on your life path in this incarnation, in this story that you were born into, at this time that we are all existing in. If you are here with me right now, then we exist together, therefore we are one. And I want to remember that unity, coming together is so very important to help us choose our path to Dharma. And it's so very important to show us that we are of meaning in this life and that we have great purpose in this life. Don't let anyone push you down. Don't let any society structures make you believe that you have no purpose and that you're born to be a slave, that you're born to wake up, grind, eat, sleep, repeat. There's so much joy. And I personally believe that this is a pleasure planet. And right now that people aren't in charge. It's a few select groups that are in charge of the world. And if you do a little counter research to the mainstream narrative, you'll find out who those families are. I'm not going to say their name. But those families.
Oh, please tell me she's one of those conspiracy theorists. Oh my gosh. I mean, she's not totally wrong. I mean, most of the countries that are evil right now, including Russia and the United States, we are kind of oligarchical in nature, and we definitely, like, you know, follow the money. There are a few select organizations and people that control a lot of stuff, like the people donating and well, bribing. I'm going to use the word bribing. Bribing senators with heaps of like mountains of cash to vote in the direction that they want him to. She's not wrong about that. I don't understand how she can be right about some things and still fall into the MLM trap. It's like if she wants to sell, right, Amanda? Oh my fucking god! Please tell me she hasn't crossed the anti-Semitic line of no return. Man, if lizard people comes out of her mouth, we know she has. I worry that like she didn't, because she could very easily start her own company selling like reselling quality essential oils to people without doing the whole, this lavender essential oil will cure you of all your pain ever type stuff, So I don't, like, I'm curious how she fell down the doTERRA rabbit hole and like why she's still stuck in there. It's sad.
Are the ones that have been running the world in non-sustainable. They've been managing our resources in unsustainable ways. One more thing before I tap out for this conversation. You guys, your dharma will lead to your financial success. And your financial success or your abundance in the world, regardless of how finances change in our world, that abundance leads to other people's abundance. That you living your dharma shows other people how to live their dharma. Anyone listen to podcasts in here? Because that's other people using their voice, embodying their legacy, and living their dharma. Y'all, we can't lift other people up until we lift ourselves up. And it tends oftentimes that we drag people down because we don't feel like we're good enough. And it's really more of a time than ever when there's so much uncertainty and the darkness seems bigger than the light and the systems are getting filtered and cleansed. The truth will be known. And all of those elements come together when you stand in your absolute truth, when you're willing to look for your dharma, when you're willing to see options that you haven't seen before. I want to thank everyone for coming for this first episode of
Ugh, that's just makes me feel icky. I think she's misusing the word dharma. I wish I could. There's my tiny human. She's just. I guess she went outside to play. Anyway, I think that I'm gonna follow these people for a while and see what else they say. Especially since she seems to be a subscriber of the Rich Dad Poor Dad mentality, thought process, philosophy. I don't even know. Okay, so Kitty says, "Don't you hate when the MLM hunts make good points while shilling their BS?" Yes, I do, because that's what pulls people in, and I think I still can't decide if this woman like if she genuinely has no idea, like if the cognitive dissonance just hasn't like really hit her yet, because the stuff she's saying doesn't align with working for an MLM, because like she's not a business owner right now. She calls herself a professional oil witch. Okay, there are ways for you to sell essential oils without going through an MLM, and I mean we can talk about the ethics all day long of prescribing essential oils to cure people's ills or whatever, but at least you wouldn't be working for an MLM then. Okay, this is oh, I used to work in the email compliance, and the number of scummy websites which that poor job pursuit was incalculable. God, I hate that book. I might like read that book and then like review it as a bookkeeper, because I think that it's one of those things like I don't know very many people who work in finance who think that that book is good. Oh God, yes, dear. No, I'll just leave it in the microwave. I'll come get it. Thank you. Love you. Bye. He scared the crap out of me, y'all. Okay. Uh, all right. So I just wanted to watch this last one. What is the doTERRA witch? And we're gonna leave off. We're gonna watch this and leave off on that note, because I'm going to follow these people for a while, and I'm gonna do updates, because Honestly, I'm intrigued because Jess, the person we've been watching, she seems like a really likable person, and maybe I can like message her and reach out and be like, "Listen, you're, you know, you're caught up in a scam." Oh, Rosie says Rich Dad Poor Dad was part of my school's curriculum in financial education. Oh my gosh. That's so depressing, honestly. Ugh, it's a horrible book. Okay, so what is a doTERRA witch? Let's find out. There goes the big guy with the big truck.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to doTERRA Witches. My name is Jess. I wanted to start this, what is a doTERRA witch call? I wanted to start it in this way of bringing myself outside. It's a fresh snowstorm. Hi, Annie. Hey, Serena. We got fresh snow. There's a sunset out here. And we also have Luna up there hanging out. I felt like it was most appropriate, even though it's cold, it was most appropriate to start this call off outside in the big capital N nature, in the Mama Gaia, in the planet Earth, away from all of our human comforts of heating and
Away from all of our human comforts as she's wrapped in a blanket.
refrigeration and running water. I want to go inside in a minute, but I just want to welcome everyone on. Hi, hi, hi. It's really important. It was really important to me to kind of navigate through what exactly a doTERRA witch is. And I've been doing it for a while through my notes app. I've just been thinking about like who we are, why we're here, what is our mission statement, what is our purpose in this life, why are we doing what we're doing. And the fact is that there's so many reasons that kind of like trail and stem and root off of other reasons, inversions that are in the world that we are all experiencing, the uprootedness to our sacred land that we have. I know in my life, I've lived in the mountain and I've lived in the country and I've lived in the cities. And right now I'm in the city. So there's this contrast of the natural world and the world that humans have built. You know, humans have succeeded in making cities and all sorts of things. So when I ask myself what a doTERRA witch is, it feels similar that there's this thread, there's this quilt of understanding that there's a little doTERRA witch in all of us. doTERRA, the name of the company, means gift of the earth. And the witches could mean a lot of different broad things. Let's think about what a witch could be. A witch back in the 1800s was the person who did evil magic and sorcery. Earlier in the dates, you know, people have been punished as witches, even if they weren't. The modern day term now, when you look on witches on Instagram, it's all black aesthetic and dried baby's breath and, you know, skulls and candles and crystals for good, right? For good reason.
Okay, sorry, I had to Google that because I wanted to fact check that like in real time. So she says that doTERRA basically means gift of the earth. It's actually based off of the Latin for gift of the earth, which is donum terrae, which so I guess like it could that's probably what they were going for, is it means gift of the earth, but I still think it's kind of scummy. Also, whenever other witches, especially white witches, when they talk about white being like the color of their skin, not white as in the type of witchcraft they practice. When other witches start talking about the history of witches and the history of witchcraft, I tend to like give them a side eye a little bit because she or most people get it wrong. Like, for fuck's sake, people think that witches were burned at the Salem witch trials. Like they were not. And also, people also think that the Salem witch trials were about a couple of teenage girls who just went a little bit crazy with a prank. No, it was uh, they were, if I remember right, it was ergot poisoning. Either way, the community at large was dealing with hallucinations and uh, um, like brain issues stemming from something that they were ingesting. So it was not just a couple of teenage girls having. Anyway, I could go on forever about that. Rosie says so much of what she says sounds like her beliefs should not align with a big corporation like doTERRA. That's like exactly right. Like she's spouting off all of this anti-capitalist stuff, and then she's like in basically the perfect capitalist corporation. I don't understand why she aligned herself with doTERRA. Is it just because of the name? Do you think maybe she heard the name and was like, "That's righteous," and then joined it? I don't get it. Ah, it makes me fussy. I'm fussy now.
Reason. So, what exactly is a witch, you guys? What exactly would a witch be to you? I know that for me, I've narrowed it down to 3 basic ways or reasons that a witch is a witch. Let's go back into the history for one moment before we move forward. I wanted to say that paganism is of the religion that goes way, way, way back before the Abrahamic religions did.
No. Oh my God, she's wrong.
And that's just a historical account. You can do your own research on that. Wicca, in another way, is a fairly new sect of paganism. Wicca was made, gosh, was it in the 40s, 1940s, or something like this? Very in 1900s for sure, like recent 1900s. Wicca was. Wicca observes is it the feminine and masculine? I'm not a Wicca resource because I am not Wiccan in my life. And so do your own research about what Wicca and what paganism is and develop your own ideas of that. I will tell you that a witch is, in the modern day, a term that's being reclaimed. It's being re-owned. It's being embodied. It's being embodied by people that aren't only female-bodied. It's being embodied in a plethora of ways.
I will say that this is true. The term witch, like as we use it now, it is definitely one of those reclaimed things. Not everyone who identifies as a witch believes in spell work. Not everyone who identifies as a witch believes in magic. Witch is definitely, it's kind of like the word queer. A certain subsect of people were called that for so long negatively that they just sort of decide, yeah, okay, I'll own it. It's my word now. You don't get to define what it means. So that's sort of where she's right in this aspect. Man, I feel like if I could just sit down with this person, I could maybe explain to her why all of her ideas regarding doTERRA are just wrong. And also maybe help convince her to get rid of her locks. Because that's super racist. But that's fine. Okay, hitting play again.
I mean, there's so many witches in the world. You got kitchen witches, you got green witches who work with plants, you got animal witches, you got book witches, you got yarn witches, you have healing witches of touch. You have so many witches. And so what is a witch? I believe that witch defined is a person by their own sovereignty is changing their reality based upon the manipulation or the awareness of energy. Serena and I were watching this cool thing on Gaia the other night about the quantum field. And that is really, really...
Okay, so that's where she gets all of her information. She says that they were watching something on Gaia. And Gaia, if y'all don't know, where are we at? Because it's going to kick me off again, 4:53. I have to, because I want to type in Gaia Online, but if y'all were around in the early 2000s, you know that Gaia Online is a game. Gaia, what is it called? Gaia TV? What is it? Yeah, there we go. This is a really, really weird hokey site. Okay. Like they have all sorts of ridiculous documentaries that make no sense. And some of it is like conspiracy theorist nonsense. Some of it, yoga, which whatever. They have all sorts of like weird documentaries like about aliens and people who exclusively watch that. I question basically everything they've ever said about anything because they're getting a weird skewed version of science history and stuff like that, like a skewed version of interest, like information that may or may not actually be real. So let's see, Her voice is really soothing. I just wish she wasn't spouting nonsense and BS. Right? Like she's definitely one of those people who sounds like they would be really good at like ASMR. That would be a great interview if you get in touch with her. I always have so many questions for people like her. I know, and I might approach her and see if she wants to talk about this stuff, but because there's so much about what she's saying that I agree with, but I don't know that I would agree with where she got that information, why she's spouting off that information, or like if she's just using buzzwords to get people to agree with her, then she can turn them into recruits. Because we see that all the time with other Huns. We see that with the Monade Huns. We see that it's like the Monade Huns, they'll spout off like Bible verses and stuff like that, and they'll talk about their journey with God, and then they'll get people to follow them based on that, and then turn around and use that as a method of recruitment. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that we should be recruiting people based on emotional things that we can't always control, like religion. I think it's bad. Anyway, Gaia TV, not Gaia Online. Gaia is a really weird site with a lot of weirdness. Ah,
Hello, everyone.
stop. There we go. Oop, too far. We're at 4:53. That's good. Oh, but anyway, I was saying like I don't want her to feel like she would be attacked like if she came because sometimes I come across as like I'm being too blunt, I'm being attacky, even though I'm not trying to be. So it would be an interesting conversation to be sure if I could sit down and have one with her.
The other night about the quantum field, and that is really, really cool to experience some knowledge being dropped about what is the quantum field. Do research on that too. That's very fun. Okay, Annie says Wick was created in the 60s. Wicca was created from the 60s as far as I'm aware. Wicca. Yeah, so it's fairly new. I feel like witchcraft, that is of the manipulation of energetics, of changing your beliefs and so therefore changing your reality. That in of essence is something we can all do. And so in essence, as a human being, we all have the ability to claim a witch if it feels called to us. Generally speaking, witch has been used as the word to explain evilness or sadism or just like ritualistic occult is the people I'm thinking about witch. But witch to me looks like it looks like people like me walking around in the grocery store. It looks like a kind smile from someone who understands. It looks like sitting under the moon in silence. It looks like adding an extra helping of thought into what you're cooking. It looks like raising mindful children as best as you can. It looks like planting with the seasons. I think that witches, first of all,
I like completely agree with that. It's like for me, that's basically what my witchcraft looks like. It means like raising kids to be actively anti-racist. It means raising kids to be mindful and kind. It means, you know, doing things with intention, not just to do stuff. Does that make sense? It means sitting here at my window at 7 a.m. watching this nest of birds that have made a home in the roof. Like it's not weird, hokey nonsense. And even though some of the stuff that she said is suspect and talking about, changing energies and all that is kind of weird, but I I could see where she's coming from. How did she fall into the doTERRA rabbit hole? Ah, poor woman.
understand the cycles of life. There's many cycles in life. We all orbiting in some direction. Hi, welcome. I want to go inside, you guys. So the cycles that we all observe in our lives can go macro or micro. We all have cycles. If you are a female-bodied person who goes with the lunar ovulation and the lunar...
I don't like that. I already don't like that. Men have periods too. Just saying. Like, I hate when that's another huge problem I have with certain sects of witchcraft and paganism. It's like it's very binary. It's very female and male oriented type stuff, and talking about how female bodies, quote unquote, have cycles and periods and lunar ovulation. I don't like that. Just gonna throw that out there. Dislike greatly.
Menstruation of your body, then you'll know that you also have cycles. You have a cycle of menstruation when you bleed, and then follicular, and then you have ovulation, and then you have luteal, and then you go back into menstruation again. That's a cycle. Female bodied people cycle with a
Luteal. It's luteal. She's talking about there's like specific phases for people who possess uteruses and actually have periods that are like normal cycling. There's a luteal phase. That's what she's talking about. It's not luteal. In case anyone was confused by that, because it took me a second.
And so it's really important to note that the seasons, generally speaking, not around the equator of this planet, experience seasons as well. Summer, fall, winter, spring. And those seasons are like a gorgeous way and an observance, just kind of like how the moon goes from full, then it waxes and wanes and it goes new. All of those things combined create a cyclical nature. Our lives are cycles. If you like scale out into like your own becoming and dissolving and the observance of people, babies growing up and learning how to walk, old people needing assistance, and eventually passing on, you know, those observance of cycles is pivotal in a witch's understanding. Witches and light workers aren't necessarily the same, but they can be.
Light workers is another term for those same people who I was talking about love and light witches earlier. And so like, hold on, let me pull up a super official definition of light worker, because I know not a lot of people are tapped into the witchy community. So according to, let's see if I can pull this in front. It will not let me. Okay. The term light worker is increasingly used, but what exactly is a light worker and what is their role in society? Technically, the term light worker was first coined by author and teacher Michael Mirdad in the early 80s. The simplest way to describe light workers would be as beings who feel an enormous pull towards helping others, also referred to as crystal babies, indigos, earth angels, and star seeds. These spiritual beings volunteer to act as a beacon for the earth and to commit to serving humanity. I will pull this article and link it if y'all want to read it. It's strange stuff. But yeah, so light worker are just people who want to help other people. But like, I don't like the term light worker because it implies the concept of like a dark worker. And I just think that that's silly. Maybe it's just me.
You can identify as whatever you want to on this planet. It's pretty cool. But witches tend to understand that there is light along with the dark. There is a dual nature, just like there's always the sun and then the moon, and then the night comes and it's dark. All of those things are great clues of understanding to our cyclical nature. Hello, friend. Give me 1 second. The quiet ways in which we give and take in our world is exactly what a witch understands. There's this thing we call sacred reciprocity. It's receiving and giving in perfect turn. We took from the life while we were living, and when we die, the earth will feed off of us. It's just the natural order of this existence in this planet Earth plane. I think that balancing and understanding the dual nature in all of us can go big or small. I feel that it's important to remember that we're all learning and we're all on our own path. And if calling yourself a witch makes you feel uncomfortable or tight, or it's something that you just don't want to do, then I would call that just not resonating. But for me, when I was growing up, I was always into like spell books, witches. I mean, even as shallow as like Charmed on TV, you know, like going to my library, trying to find anything I could. I felt like this world had more than what meets the eye. And as I grow up even more, I understand that there is so much more than meets the eye. If anyone on here would like to come on and tell me what being a doTERRA witch or just a witch in general means to you, I would love to have you on. Just invite yourself on. The reason that we are doTERRA witches is because we embody the witch every day. Witches understand that everything that exists, from this this drill bits that I'm playing with, to my own hand, to these earrings, all of this stuff has value because it's made of the earth. It's here. Even the plastic that I really despise so much, all the plastic being pulled up from the earth and created plastic, all of that stuff, it really frustrates me. But it doesn't mean that I disrespect plastic anymore. I try to take plastic into consideration because it exists here. Just like if you scale that back to the human experience, just because someone's an addict, just because someone is traumatized beyond belief, just because someone appears so broken, you don't just give up on it. You don't just disrespect it. You don't treat it like shit.
Oh, yikes. Yikes. So much yikes. Sorry. I don't like the equating addiction or addicts, people with trauma or who have experienced trauma, to broken people. I don't know. I feel like she loses the plot a little bit when she's like, we're all of the earth, but broken people deserve love too. Maybe let's start with not calling people broken. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Our planet has been, and our resources, our divine resources being born onto this plane, all of those resources belong to us, and it's up to us to share and manage them properly so that the future 7 generations can have their growing success and they can be the future ancestors of the world. Our resources on this planet haven't been managed effectively. And there's so many toxic things that are like killing the people. And it's not necessarily our fault for being born into the system, but the choices that we make every day, the ways in which we can connect to the earth, the ways in which that we are patient in our power, the ways in which that we grow into our own sovereign, autonomous beings, the things that we fight for, the products that we buy, the ways in which we teach our kids, how patient we are. All of these things that I'm mentioning are really vital to understanding what it is to be a witch. Witches understand the duality of nature, but they also understand that all things need to be considered. You can't overlook something, because when you do, you'll trip. You can't have your head in the sky, or else you'll be falling forever. And by that I mean that in a poetic way, to remind you that even though we love our comforts, and even though we get closer and closer to technology making things faster and easier for us, if we could move in a direction within that path that's unsustainable, then we're going to tap out the resources of our planet. We're going to let the elite, the people that run the currency of the world, tap out the resources of our planet. And it doesn't mean that we're perfect. It doesn't mean that I didn't just buy plastic bags, things of that nature. But the awareness of that, the ability to show up in healing, in a healing energy, not only that just is yourself, but like ripples out into the world. For me to stand here with you and to tell you what a witch is, to communicate to you that it's not scary to be a witch. It's not what the scholars, like literal college textbooks defined a witch as an evil maker, a wrongdoer. Like, that has been trained for so long in our psyches that when we come up with witch, we think, oh, something's...
Hold on. I actually have a book about this. I'm going to pull up what they said, because there is a scholarly accepted historical definition of a witch. Oh my god, where's my book? Okay, so my book is not on my shelf next to me. Maybe next time I talk about these people, I will bring out that book, because oh my gosh, because she's right. There are some textbooks that have some textbooks and some scholar sources that have referred to a witch as a being who does evil, but there are more that define witchcraft as something else. So I'll have to pull my book out and see because I can't remember what he said the majority of scholars believe that witches were. Anyway.
Something fearful. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's something that we have to unlearn. There are archetypes of witches that are scary, but it's just like Christians. It's just like Jewish folk. It's just like anything. There are people in this world who play more in the dark realms that go outside of the realm of consent, and there are people that aren't, and that they don't, and that they respect, and they're trying their best. And not everyone's impact matches their intention. Even you can be trying to do good and accidentally you mess up, and that comes in that authentic respect piece, that authentic, genuine ability to be like, oh, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Like, no one's perfect being a witch, you guys. no one's perfect living in this world right now from 2020 and beyond. This is all uncharted territory that we're navigating together. I'm gonna assume that no one wants to come on live, dear ones. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything that I didn't mention? I guess I wanted to touch a little bit on the doTERRA witch part, like putting that together.
Yes, please, because that's why we're watching this.
Started off with a group. Well, it started off with me and Tanya. We found Michaela, we found Serena, we found Annie, and we're just continuing to find like-minded people. Psst. But with that being said, we're all autonomous, sovereign people. We're not in a cult. This is not anything that ties us to ourselves without consent. We're not even really a coven. Like, most of us are moms, most of us are running family households. Most of them, you could probably relate a lot about your life with us. Witches in the modern age needs to be demystified. It's your own innate ability to be in your power and create the life that you want, regardless of whether you call yourself a witch or not. And the essential oils from doTERRA, the reason we can tell you all day about the reason we love them. The potency and the purity and the integrity of the company, the philanthropy, the fact that they care about the environment, they care about the farmers. There's so many reasons why the essential oils fit perfectly into our lives. A lot of us were using essential oils already. So when we found doTERRA, and we had that experience, we were blown away, and then we stayed because we like the best stuff.
So they were using other essential oils before and then switched to doTERRA? Okay. That boggles the mind, because there's very clearly, you know what, I should see if I can't source, because I'm already looking for someone who can give me thieves oil so that I can do my my hygiene test. I'm gonna take a Norwex cloth, bleach, vinegar, and thieves oil, and then a couple other like cleaning type things from MLMs, like Melaleuca's, spray. I'm having trouble sourcing all of that, but I should do another video where I test like lavender oil from doTERRA and Young Living compared to my favorite lavender oil, and maybe make a batch of soap or a batch of lotion with it or something, because although that's really hard to show quality differences when in a video. I don't know. I'll figure something out, because doTERRA and Young Living both have shit essential oils. They're awful. Amanda says, I wonder what her situation was when that happened and if she was vulnerable at the time and that's why she got sucked in as hard as she did. You may be onto something, because that's usually how it happens. It's like someone is at a really low point and then they need, either money or companionship or something. And look, a wild MLM has appeared. Oh, Aaron says, I just logged on, we'll be driving, and it looks like I've missed a fair bit, so may have to watch it again from the beginning later on in the replay, but hopefully we'll catch up as I drive. Well, hello, Aaron. I'm glad you could join us. This is the last little clip that I'm showing, and then I have to hop off because I can smell the burgers my husband made, and I'm really hungry, so. Amanda says the way she's talking, she seems to be implying she's a mom, so it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Yeah. And some of the way she's talking, like talking about demystifying the term witch and stuff like that, maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm just completely way off base here. But it seems like maybe there's a point where she felt isolated because of her faith and because of her spirituality. I know that a lot of us people who call ourselves Wiccan, or not Wiccan, witches and pagans, we tend to be isolated, especially as parents, because no one wants to, have their children be cursed or whatever. I don't even know. None of it makes sense, but we'll see how she rounds this out.
So I would love to hear in the comments what you guys really feel like witch means to you. You may not be an oil witch or a book witch like me, but I'm sure you have your own witchy ways. I've met a lot of people in my clients, and I've met a lot of people in my life who have reconsidered whether or not they're a witch after they learn what a witch really is or could be to them. I think that using essential oils is just one method of working with the earth spirits and the plant elements and all of the kingdoms combined into your etheric center with your spiritual journey. It's beautiful to have a medicine chest that you can go to and feel out exactly what you need for the day.
Essential oils aren't medicines.
Being a doTERRA witch is listening and communing with your body, and it's communing with the elements, and it's all in perfect time, in the perfect environment for blooming. We like to say, when you plant seeds, the harvest is inevitable. And so I wish that for all of us, that all the seeds that we're planting through some pretty dark times reach a bountiful harvest. I love you so much. Meet me again here at doTERRA Witches. I was going to say, I'll see you again next time for What is a doTERRA Witch? But I'll probably run this again next year. So I'll see you next March for this. And look on the wall, on our Instagram wall. Jump on our email list. Send me your email if you want to get some alerts on the calendars, the events that we're doing. It's really important to us that we keep things fun.
Okay, so I guess she's done with that. But maybe I just got distracted and lost in all of because it felt like a lot of the stuff that she was saying was very buzzwordy, very dog whistly. So maybe I just got lost trying to figure out what she was actually trying to say behind all that. But I still don't really have a concept of what is a doTERRA witch. So I guess, I don't know. I think that I'm going to follow these folks for a while just to see, like, because she said that they only just started in October of last year. So I want to know more. I want to know more about because she mentions other people, but I haven't actually seen any other people. I think we've watched 3 of their videos now, and I haven't actually seen anyone else. So I'd be curious to see who else, this Tanya person. I think the doTERRA witches are just, I think, just from context clues, because I'm still really not super sure. I think it's just a group of moms who are witches who sell doTERRA. So I'm honestly not entirely sure. I was kind of hoping what is a doTERRA witch would help, like, tell us, but it did not. Objective not achieved. But anyway, I am gonna hop off of here soon. Next week I was gonna have a let's talk about passive income, but I forgot that I didn't forget. I just mixed up my days, really. But like next week, we're leaving for Houston. So I won't be available. So next Thursday, I'm actually just going to post up a video about my first month, the finances of the first month of my first book, like the debut. So like how much I spent on ad revenue, how much I actually earned that month, etc. So that's basically all I'm going to have for y'all next week. And then Sunday, we are doing the toxicity town hall. We're going to put the final nail in the coffin of the Queen of Spades situation on Sunday. If anyone has had any um, experiences with her where they feel like they want to talk about it, but they want to do so anonymously, or if you just want to come up on the live and talk about it, I'm doing that Sunday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And then, oh, Kitty says, oh, okay, this is very interesting. I'll keep my eye out for any other doTERRA witch talk. Yeah, I think it's definitely something I want to talk about a lot. It's like a lot of people are focusing on Boss Lee and they're focusing on, oh, I cannot remember her name. The other one, the one who, EPH Lifestyle or whatever her name is on Instagram. A lot of people focus on them because they are arguably the most toxic of the anti MLM crowd. But these people, the doTERRA witches, they seem rather positive and they seem like they want to be, you know, a source of good, a force of good, but like they definitely have the wrong idea. So I'm going to kind of follow them because I think eventually they're going to realize that doTERRA is not the way to go. There are better ways to help people. But Dorkable says, I'll just be in chat. That's okay. And Amanda says, oh, I'll definitely be there. Yeah, I need to collect the stories of the people who wanted to be anonymous so that I can just read them out without having to like out who they are or anything. But it'll be an interesting stream on Sunday, that's for sure. But for now, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my burgers. And I thank y'all for joining me. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your evening and have a good weekend.